Across all genres of modern music, there have been numerous siblings or family members that have emerged alongside each other either independently or together as great musical figures. From throwback examples such as the Jackson 5 and the Young Brothers of AC/DC, to contemporary examples such as Billie Eilish and Phineas, Beyonce and Solange, and the Greenwood Brothers of Radiohead, there are many standout musician siblings and families. As new musicians take their shot at the music business every day, it was inevitable that another sibling pair would emerge onto the scene. This inevitable pair are brothers Dominic and Alex Fike, with Alex Fike, being who I wish to cover today, going simply by the stage name Alex. Both brothers hail from Naples, Florida, with the pair repping their hometown throughout the entirety of their discographies, with much of Alex's aesthetic being based upon that fact. Before I discuss either, it should be noted that although Dominic Fike's first official release was in October of 2018, and Alex's just this April, the pair have unofficially been releasing music for years on YouTube and SoundCloud. Unfortunately, as they have habitually deleted all of their music from these streaming services, as they either grow out of their respective sounds or had become discontent with the quality of the music itself. Much of Dominic Fike's deleted releases, such as his 2016 EP Dishwasher, have been recovered due to fan interest after his success following the release of his single 3 Nights, as well as his Brockhampton cosign. With Alex being a newcomer to officially releasing music, his music has not been recovered in this way. As mentioned, Alex is a newcomer to officially releasing music as he dropped his first single, Mrs. Florida, in early April of this year. This followed his apparent signing to Alamo Records, which is headed by Todd Maskowitz, who previously headed Warner Brothers Records and founded 300 Entertainment, an imprint that has been vital in signing hip-hop artists during the trap era. With the founding of Alamo Records only being in 2016, most of their artists on the roster of 22 are still similar to Alex in the fact that they are relatively unknown, but their roster boasts rising stars such as Rod Wave and Young Mal, as well as widely known artists Black Bear, Smoke Perp, and Lil Durk. Before the release of Mrs. Florida, Alex would, beginning in 2017, contribute to 3 different officially released tracks in the form of feature work, with these tracks being Ike Offline's Distorted World, Rip Matt Black's Winnebago, and Rare's Jam. In terms of quality, Alex honestly carries all 3 of these tracks. On Distorted World, the experimental filter that Ike Offline places over his voice has not aged well, but Dominic Fike's rap verse and Alex's chorus still make the song worthwhile. Winnebago is honestly ruined by Rip Matt Black himself due to his lackluster lyrical content and poor take on sung trap. Alex also alters his sound to fit the trap aesthetic, and it definitely works on this track. Jam stood out as the best of the 3, with Rare and Alex both contributing to a fun pop tune, although Rare states, quote, "This is his worst song," unquote, in a verified Genius annotation. At the release of Mrs. Florida, the label backing that Alex had received since these features was apparent in a good way. Mrs. Florida is the perfect coming together of sounds in order to make a groovy summertime pop hit. This can be rarely said, and is usually contribute to a good hip hop flow, but Alex literally floats over the beat. The music video, directed by Sam McAllier, shows high production value and cements the Floridian and summer-based themes of Alex's work. He maximizes the minute and 55-second track length in order to create a perfect debut. It does not come off as abstract or trying too much for a first release. It is just simply Alex having fun and cementing his sound. In between Mrs. Florida and his second single, Alex would drop a Lucy track titled Function exclusively on YouTube and SoundCloud. In an Instagram caption, Alex shared, quote, "I made this 2 years ago. It has nothing to do with the EP," unquote. Essentially, it looked as if Function would act to hold over fans in anticipation of his second official single. While definitely a good track, its spacey vibe and depressive lyrics are unlike any of Alex's future releases and do not fit his current aesthetic. For his second single, Love on Top, which was released over a month after Mrs. Florida on May 14th alongside a dedicated music video, Alex would completely disembark from the sound of Mrs. Florida, but was still able to maintain stylistic cohesiveness between the two, in order to in the future place them together in a project. While the production and lyrical content match that of Mrs. Florida, his complete disembarkment that I mentioned is explained by a YouTube comment which Alex himself favorited that states Love on Top is, quote, "low-key country," unquote. The vocal inflections and delivery that Alex puts forth are country to their core, with this aspect being especially present over the hook. Following Love on Top, Alex would go to social media to announce the release of his debut project, a 5-track EP titled The Fantasy, which would include both Mrs. Florida and Love on Top. On its day of release, May 27th, the 3 unreleased tracks from the EP would be Crash, Miss You, and PPS, standing for Party and Phone Sex. Each of the 5 tracks barely approached 2 minutes in length, creating a runtime of 10 minutes for the EP. I think this briefness by Alex is perfect though. It allows for the EP to act as a sampler for the future and build anticipation for a future album. The EP is absolutely amazing, with my favorite part of it being its sheer consistency. On Crash and Miss You, Alex presents a new sound, with each having slick production and more spaced out vocals reminiscent of Function, but these are lifted by a strong delivery. PPS more aligns with the EP singles, with it being supported by upbeat, pop-based production. Ultimately, I believe Alex does in The Fantasy what he set out to accomplish, with that being to create a sampler project to quickly introduce new fans to his sound. As The Fantasy was released mere days ago, not much comment can be said by me on Alex's career since. An important event that happened days before The Fantasy's release though, was Alex's appearance on hip-hop boy band Brockhampton's now weekly Twitch live show, Technical Difficulties. Technical Difficulties acts as a space for Brockhampton to perform DJ sets and premiere lo-fi cuts of tracks that did not make the cut for their next album. Alex appeared alongside Kevin Abstract and Nick Holiday during an airing of the Lucy Don't Be Famous. Although previously spotted with Brockhampton due to his brother's connections with the group, Alex's appearance on Technical Difficulties acts as an informal cosign. I believe cosigns such as this one will become common to Alex as his career trajectory begins to explode, with the fantasy and future projects being the likely catalyst for this. Alex's genre bending and sheer talent he shows on every track is what I credit my gravitation to him as an artist for. The fantasy acts as a perfect introduction to him as an artist, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. Alex is an extremely promising artist, and his career beginnings display this promise to the highest degree.